Shalom lekulam, it's a new year and a new shoresh. Chet Dalet Shin, it all has to do with newness. Shalom lekulam, welcome back to Hebrew Vocab Boost. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, but hopefully I'm getting back on track. It's a new year, so I'm doing the shoresh that has to do with things that are new. And so the shoresh is Chet Dalet Shin. So let's get to it. So in the Tanakh and in modern times, one of the super common words that is based on this shoresh is the word chodesh, which means month. And in fact, in the Tanakh, of all of the verses that contain this shoresh, almost 80% of them are the word chodesh, or, like the plural or the smichut form. And so, in the Tanakh, the chodesh was by far the most used word from this shoresh. And this makes sense. You might think, what does month have to do with newness? But in the Hebrew calendar, every single month always starts on the new moon. They actually, way back in ancient times, they had people looking for the new moon, watching the sky, waiting for the new moon to appear. And so it makes sense that month and newness are associated with each other. So one thing that's interesting is that early on in the Tanakh, the months did not have names. And actually, for the majority of the Tanakh, whenever a specific month is designated, they just use its order in the calendar, starting in the spring with the month that Pesach is in, Passover, and so that's the first month, and then second month, third month, fourth month, all the way up through 12th month. Before the book of Zechariah, all of the months were described by their chronological order. So they were all described this way, being first month, second month, third month. I'm going to do a whole separate video on the Hebrew calendar because it is extremely confusing. But hopefully that video will be coming up soon, and it will explain the whole reason why Jewish holidays do not fall on the same day of the year in the Gregorian calendar every year. So a couple of times in Zechariah, we see a month that is described as Chodesh HaAviv. And Aviv now means spring, and it's definitely related to new growth and new greenness and stuff like that. But Aviv is not a month in the Jewish calendar. It literally just means spring. And there is one other month before the Babylonian exile that also has a name, and that's the second month, and it is referred to as the month of Ziv. And only a couple of times, it's not every single time. There are many times where the second month is referred to, but so it's really unclear why certain months had names or descriptors, whereas all of the other months only had a numerical value. During the Babylonian exile, which started in 597 BCE, Jews were exposed to the Babylonian calendar month names, and so they basically just adopted those month names. And of course, these are the names that we still use to this day for the Hebrew months. Now, in modern Hebrew, most time frames, if there are two of them, they use a dual form. I've talked about this in a separate video where I talked about the dual form. So hour, day, week, month, and year. If you want to say two of them, you cannot use the number two, shnaim or shnei, and also use that number. You have to use a special dual form that always ends with ayim. For 2 hours, we have sha'atayim. 2 days, we have yomayim. 2 weeks, shvu'ayim. And 2 months, chodshayim. That is the way to say 2 months in modern Hebrew. All right, so as I mentioned, we have chodesh, and that means 1 month. Chodshayim is 2 months, and then for any bigger numbers of months or an undescribed amount of months, you would say chodashim. And chodesh in the Tanakh often also has the meaning of the new moon. So not necessarily the whole month, the whole span of that month, but just the changing of the month, so the new moon. So you occasionally see people saying machar chodesh, and it sounds like it means tomorrow is a month, but it literally means tomorrow is the new moon. And you also see them referring to the new moon as Rosh Chodesh, and that is how I normally hear it referred to in modern times. So besides monthiness, the more basic meaning is of newness. And so we've got the adjective chadash, which means new. All right, so it's chadash in the masculine, chadasha in the feminine. And it works just very much as the same way you would use the word new in English. Chadasha in the feminine form appears just a few times as a noun in the Tanakh to mean a new thing. And so sometimes you see it in the singular, chadasha, a new thing, or translated sometimes as something new. Or you might see it in the plural, chadashot, meaning new things. In modern times, chadashot literally means the news, right? Like what we watch or read to find out what is happening in the world. There are 2 verbs based on this shoresh. One of them is a PL verb, lechadesh, and it means to renew or restore something. In the Tanakh, it also was used once to mean to inaugurate when there was a new king. They were inaugurating a new king and they used this shoresh, lechadesh. So mostly it's to renew or to restore or to renovate. In modern Hebrew, it can also mean to modernize or to innovate. And there's also the hitpa'el verb lehitchadesh. It's only seen once in the Tanakh. In Psalm 103 verse 5, it says edyecha titchadesh, which is translated, your youth is renewed. And so lehitchadesh still in modern times means to be renewed or to be restored, and so still basically the same meaning. One thing that is a lot of fun in Hebrew is that if anybody ever announces that they have purchased something new, they will often get met with a future tense form of this verb, which is really used as a command form. So it's titchadesh for if you're talking to a man, titchadshi if you're talking to a woman, and titchadshu if you're talking to a group of people. And it's very much like saying, like, congratulations on your new thing. So it's like enjoy your new thing. So if I said, oh, I just got a new computer, you might say, oh, titchachi. All right, so let's move on to words that were not in the Tanakh at all. They are just modern innovations. And we first have the word chodshi, which is an adjective meaning monthly. So if anything is a monthly occurrence, then chodshi is the word you would use. Mechadash is a word that literally means from new, and it basically just means again. So if you're going to do something again, you can use the word shuv, or you can also say mechadash. And of course, with two verbs come two verbal nouns, what in Hebrew is called a shem pe'ula. And this is basically just a noun based on a verb. So lechadesh means to renew or restore or renovate or innovate or modernize. Chidush is the verbal noun, and so this means an innovation or a modernization, something like that. And hitchadshut is the verbal noun for the verb lehitchadesh, and that verb means to be renewed. So this is the verbal noun means renewal. Chadshan is an innovator, and so chadash or lechadesh means one of the meanings is to innovate, and putting a nun at the end and using a vowels is a very common way of making making an agent, a person who does a specific thing. So that's how that's come about here. Chadshan lechadesh, to innovate. Chadshan, innovator. And from the word chadshan, we have a new adjective. We put the yud ending on it that makes it a new adjective, and now we have chadshani, which means innovative. And tachdish is a word, it's a linguistic term, it means a neologism. So this is a word that is new to a language, and so tachdish is itself a tachdish. And so now for a few modern phrases. Two of them are chodesh chaser and chodesh maleh. Because months are always coinciding, the changing of the month always coincides with the new moon, all months either have 29 or 30 days. And so a month that has only 29 days is a chodesh chaser, and a month that has 30 days is a chodesh maleh. So chaser means lacking, and maleh means full. So it's a full month because it had that extra one day in there. Irgun mechadash is a reorganization. Irgun means organization, and mechadash, as we can see, it means again, so reorganization. Irgun mechadash. Ein chadash tachat hashemesh. This is a biblical phrase, so I'm sure it's actually, you probably do see it in a bunch of languages. I know I've heard it many times in English. Nothing new under the sun, right? Everything has always been seen before. Ein chadash tachat hashemesh. I remember seeing it in my research and saying, I didn't realize that was where that phrase came from. Habrit HaChadasha, this is the New Testament, the part of the Bible that only Christians consider their scriptures. Panim Chadashot means literally a new face, and this is not just referring to someone's face, it can mean the whole person, somebody new, somebody that we don't know or we have never seen before. Shekel Chadash is the Israeli currency. Israeli currency has a complicated history, but basically in 1985, before 1985, they were using the shekel. And now that pre-1985 shekel is referred to as the old shekel, and this one is referred to as shekel chadash. This is the symbol for the shekel chadash, and you can see that it kind of incorporates what kind of looks like a sheen, very stylized, right? A sheen for shekel, a chet for chadash. So that's it. Those are all the words and important phrases using the shoresh Chet Dalet Shin. I wish you all a happy new year and hope you get far in your Hebrew journey in this new year. As always, if you have any questions or feedback, please leave it in the comments. Hit like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe and press the notification bell if you want to see more. Lehitraot bapa'am haba'a. See you next time.